When two elite athletes refuse to speak for months after a bitter selection controversy, you know the wounds run deep. But what happened at the Sydney Marathon will make you believe in the healing power of sport. The Sydney Marathon delivered far more than just record-breaking performances this past Sunday. While the headlines rightfully celebrated Sifan Hassan and Haile Mariam Quiros for their extraordinary course records, the most powerful moment unfolded away from the spotlight, when two Australian distance running legends finally put an end to one of the sport's most painful feuds. Jess Stenson and Lisa Weightman's emotional embrace alongside Leanne Pompiani, Australia's top finisher in the women's race, brought seasoned commentators to tears and reminded everyone why sport transcends mere competition. But here's where it gets controversial. This heartwarming reconciliation was born from a selection decision that many still consider fundamentally unfair. Let's rewind to the drama that tore Australian athletics apart. Weightman, a four-time Olympian and two-time Commonwealth Games medalist, found herself excluded from the Paris Olympics marathon team, despite posting the third fastest qualifying time during the selection period. The decision sent shockwaves through the athletics community, with Olympic champion Sally Pearson publicly expressing her disbelief at what she called a shocking choice by Athletics Australia. Weightman didn't hold back her frustration either. In a carefully worded but pointed statement, she expressed her disappointment not just with missing out, but with the entire selection system itself. What troubles me most is Athletics Australia's internal processes that enabled this result and will, unless addressed, harm future Australian athletes and their rightful opportunities to represent their country, she declared at the time. But here's the part most people missed. The conflict escalated beyond official statements and spilled into the personal realm. Weightman's husband, Lachlan MacArthur, took to social media platform X, formerly Twitter, with a request that stunned the athletics world. He asked Stenson to remove an old photograph from her profile showing herself with Weightman and her young son after a previous race. "Thank you at Jess Trengo for taking down the photo. It is much appreciated. We have a heartbroken family here," MacArthur later posted, revealing the deep emotional toll the selection controversy had taken. The silence between the two athletes stretched for months. Speaking candidly to Code Sports in late June before the Sydney Marathon, Stenson admitted the pair hadn't exchanged a single word since her Paris competition. "We haven't found the chance to race together or reconnect since then, and you simply hope everyone can eventually understand what the other person invested in this," she reflected. "It was never going to be straightforward, and I believe that's what everyone ultimately recognized. It was an incredibly challenging situation, regardless of the outcome." Fast forward to Sunday's race, and sport delivered one of its most beautiful redemption stories. Before the starting gun even fired, Weightman approached Stenson with words that would set the stage for healing. As Stenson later revealed to Channel 7, "Lisa deserves all the credit. She told me at the starting line, 'We're leaving everything behind us today and embracing this moment together.' And that's exactly what we accomplished." The emotional weight of their reconciliation wasn't lost on veteran commentator Bruce McAvaney, whose voice cracked as he described the scene. "That image captures everything," he observed. "Seeing these two together, those within Australian athletics understand just how significant this moment truly is." There were challenging periods due to selection controversies, but witnessing these two remarkable champions united today fills us all with such joy. "I feel like crying." Triple Olympian Tamsin Manu, providing commentary alongside McAvaney, admitted the moment moved her to tears as well, calling it a beautiful display of sportsmanship that transcended competition. As for the actual racing, the Australian women delivered impressive performances across the board. Pompiani led the charge for Australia, clocking an outstanding 2:24.27 to secure the fastest time among Australian competitors. Stenson followed with a solid 2:28.56 for 8th place overall, while Waitman wasn't far behind at 2:29.34. Abigail Nordberg completed Australia's strong showing with a 2:35.43 finish that landed her in the top 10. The international competition was nothing short of spectacular. Hassan's dominance in the women's race was absolute. The Olympic champion surged to victory in 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 22 seconds, leaving Brigid Kosgei trailing in her wake. To put Hassan's achievement in perspective, she obliterated the previous course record held by Ethiopia's Workinesh Edessa Germesa by more than 3 minutes, a margin that's virtually unheard of at this elite level. The men's race proved equally thrilling, with Kyrgios establishing his dominance by crossing the finish line at the iconic Sydney Opera House in 2:06.06, creating approximately a 10-second gap ahead of fellow Ethiopian Adisu Gobena. Kyrgios's performance shattered the previous record by more than a minute, originally set by Kenya's Briman Misoi just 1 year earlier. However, the most shocking storyline belonged to Kenya's Eliud Kipchoge, widely regarded as the greatest marathon runner in men's history. The 40-year-old legend's quest for a 12th marathon major title ended in disappointment as he finished 9th, a result few predicted. Kipchoge stayed with the fast-moving lead pack through the halfway point, but the blistering pace eventually took its toll, and he was dropped from contention around the 32-kilometer mark. The race dynamic shifted dramatically when Kyrgios and Gobena spearheaded a 7-man breakaway that the chasing group simply couldn't match. With less than 1 kilometer remaining, Kyrgios made his decisive move, pulling away from Gobena to claim both victory and the record. In the wheelchair divisions, Switzerland's Marcel Hug captured the men's title, while American Susanna Scaroni took the women's crown, adding international flavor to an already diverse field of champions. The 2024 Sydney Marathon marked a historic milestone, welcoming a record-breaking 35,000 participants who tackled the stunning 42.19-kilometer route. The course showcased Sydney's most iconic landmarks, beginning in North Sydney, traversing the famous Harbour Bridge, and culminating at the breathtaking Sydney Opera House forecourt. This year's event held special significance, as Sydney officially joined the prestigious World Marathon Major Series as the 7th member, placing it alongside legendary races in London, Tokyo, Boston, Berlin, Chicago, and New York in the elite global marathon circuit. And this is the part most people miss. While we celebrate the athletic achievements and touching reconciliation, there's still an elephant in the room. Was Athletics Australia's original selection decision truly justified, or does Waitman's exclusion represent a systemic problem that could affect future athletes? The fact that both women performed admirably in Sydney raises uncomfortable questions about whether the selection process prioritized the right criteria. What do you think? Was the selection committee right to exclude Waitman despite her qualifying time? Or does this reconciliation simply paper over a flawed system that needs serious reform? Should past achievements and experience carry more weight in Olympic selection? Or should recent performance be the only factor that matters? Share your thoughts. This controversy isn't going away anytime soon.